जयपुर मणिपाल यूनिवर्सिटी ले चलते हैं, जहां सीईसी सुनील अरोड़ा क्या कुछ कह रहे हैं, सुनते हैं।
Some of all the dignitaries on the dais, Jagdish Chandra ji, my colleague from Delhi, Sandeep Saxena ji, and I have here several familiar faces who and I we have worked together at various times of our lives. So I'll not start naming now because that will be a very prolonged exercise. Actually, this is the 5th or 6th time I have come to Manipal. At least 4 or 5 times when the construction was going on. And I could see Mohan Pai ji, Abhay Jain ji and their teams reinforced by some of our colleagues from Rajasthan government, Dr. Gupta, Mr. Mahagaonkar, working day in and day out. My daughter was referred to by Abhay ji. I would like to also correct some facts. When she got admission in the main Manipal to an all India competition, I did not know anybody in Manipal. In fact, when I and my wife went to admit our daughter, like a whole lot of parents have come here, you are as much strangers to Manipal district as many of you would be today to Jaipur, coming with your kids. She passed out sometimes in 2007, and we were lucky in Manipal, I should say even at a personal level, because she found her future husband, Dr. Aura Satria, also in Manipal. So I am sure a whole lot of students here would kind of follow the glorious traditions of the Manipal culture, and maybe by the time they leave, they would have kind of thought of some personal plans also of their lives, irrespective of what the parents say. In our case, as usual, our mother started doing it first, told me about 6 to 7 months later, and I found that we were lucky to have such a good boy, touch wood. Anyway, that is a personal part. Manipal group came here to start a hospital. That was the beginning of it. That hospital has also now been started. They have taken over the Sony hospital, and I think already 4 years have been spent, and their revenues are on the rise. I was just introduced to the CEO. I am sure quality has always been the hallmark of Manipal Group. So it's not just the revenues but also the quality of medical care. Then when we had this Mahindra SCZ here, we had made a request to a couple of groups, including Infosys. Dr. Narayan Murthy had himself come here. There was a kind of interaction with us, then CM. And after that, maybe my memory doesn't serve me right, we are all growing old in life, but they created capacity for 2,000 desks in Manipal to start with about 4 to 5 lakh square feet of construction. After which came a lull. We were not happy about that lull. And when Dr. Narayan Murthy came here again once, I saw time from him. He gave me time, and he also was gracious enough to ask me to join for dinner. After that, they doubled the capacity. And I think 4 to 5 lakh more square feet were created. and 2 to 3,000 more students, mostly engineers, they came to work in Infosys campus of Manipal, Jaipur. At that stage, we had a talk about this university. They were gracious enough to agree to it, and now you have the university. It's not an easy thing. I have seen the personally I have seen the odyssey of how it all came about. Whenever something actually comes about, later on it looks as if it was always there. It was not always there. It was like Chandigarh, when that visionary Chief Minister, late Pratap Singh Karam, and a group of brilliant Indian engineers and also the French engineer, Lee Carbus, they started. That place was also full of snakes and all that. It was like Jaipur, when Jai Singh II started the old city, and the famous engineer come architect Vidyadharji was supporting him, and it became the first planned city. In fact, a lot of features of Chandigarh have been taken from the old city of Jaipur. So, engineering is not just an academic discipline. It's a combination of art, craft, and at times it kind of takes you to almost the levels of a philharmonic orchestra. The way you kind of coordinate hundreds and thousands of activities as an engineer while you are overseeing whether it's a metro, whether it's an overbridge, whether it is underpasses, whether it is roads through the diverse and very difficult hilly areas. An engineer and his colleagues have to coordinate, and the site engineer there in charge, he or she becomes like a conductor of a philharmonic orchestra. Everything has to be in tandem. There can be no dissonance. You are being told, and rightly so, about your grades. And pardon my saying, and Dr. Jagannath, when you were talking of grades, I was thinking of that movie, what's that, Three Idiots. But ultimately, even in that movie, the person who obviously has to be the hero of the movie, he gets the highest grades. So to that extent, Professor Jagannath is absolutely correct. The only difference being that he gets the highest grades while not trying only for the grades. He was also kind of trying to develop a composite personality. But all the while, even while drawing the composite personality, and the other gentleman who towards the end has been shown in a very pitiable light, who snatches his pen, doesn't realize that he is the whatever Wangdu, and has to come back to seek favors, was talking only of grades. That's the difference between I would say, rounded student and only an academically inclined student. A well-rounded student will be able to do a lot of things at the same time. And as was being told earlier, you already have, I think you mentioned that, you already have so many clubs, so many other activities, and just now Dr. Prabhu was saying that in the next week, you will be exposed to the yoga centers, the de-stressing, and all those things as a part of your initiation. I would like to congratulate all the voters here, 19 plus, and all the parents who are voters, that they have, by kind of coming in great numbers this time, much more than the last parliament elections, they have all contributed their might as citizens of the country to the greatest election in the world, that is the Indian election. And this is the greatest election because we are, 900 million electors, around 600 million actually voted, around 670 million actually voted. More women voted than last time. We had more than 10 lakh polling booths. We have a very small office, about 500 to 600 people, and I am glad it is small. But that gets expanded into a force of 12 to 13 million during the election time, thanks to the vision of our founding fathers of our constitution, who created this commission. Incidentally, this commission was created on 25th January 1950, a day before the Constitution of India was formally promulgated. And they gave a miracle wand called Article 324 for all of us to do our job, which empowers you to kind of do the superintendence and administration of election. There are hundreds and hundreds of controversies. Since we have engineering students here, a whole lot of controversies regarding EVMs. Now that is something which I find, I have been in the commission now for more than 1.5 years. I find it very ridiculous and funny. You have had so many elections since 2014. In 14, X party won. We don't take the names of parties. In 14, X party won in parliament. After 5 months, you had elections of state assembly in Delhi, and another party got overwhelming mandate by winning 67 out of 70 seats. After that, there have been so many elections in the last 5 years. Just prior to these parliament elections, you had elections in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and X party won. So you have X party, Y party, Z party winning in different states. So can we say that if I win, EVM is right? If I don't win, there's something wrong with the EVM. That shows the sheer, the hollowness of the argument. It's not the EVM which votes. It's the you people who vote. And you decide who is to come and who is not to come. And there have been cases when people have totally voted differently in the parliament and the state assemblies, which means they have their own, even in the same states where there have been simultaneous elections, the voting behavior has been different. EVM, like any other machine, can be non-functional, dysfunctional, can go wrong. You purchase a new pen, it can stop working. You get a new car, it can give you trouble. But EVM, I am declaring very responsibly in front of such a distinguished and educated gathering, that EVM manufactured by some of our best engineers in ECIL and BEL under the overall supervision of a highly erudite and eminent technical advisory committee comprising of three Professor Emeritus from IITs and one Director of IIT Bhilai. It cannot be tempered, ever. Therefore, I would request all of you that whenever you have any other elections in this state or any other state from where you may have come, you should vote overwhelmingly, because your voting is the brick and mortar on which the entire edifice of democracy is based. I will not I like to say something today also about this group as such. Can you imagine the far-sightedness of late Shri T.K. Paiji, who was such a prominent banker and who thought of establishing an educational campus way back in early 50s. And by the way, Manipal continues to be the first education city of our country. A small city dedicated totally to education. So many other universities have come, so many other players have come, but nobody can take away the kind of laurels of being pioneers in education from the Pai group. And Abhijit has said too much about me. I don't deserve it at all. But I should also tell you that I have seen him standing virtually in the sun for hours together, for days together, between him and Mr. Pai to see this campus through. And what should I be telling my young friends, the students, including their parents? You have heard the names of Nadelas, others whom incidentally he had taught. The issue is that in today's day and age, you become your own CEO. By doing a startup, you become your own CEO. It takes time, it takes effort, it's a very thankless job. But even if you are able to provide jobs in turn to say 10, 15, 20 people, you will be probably the most productive citizens of this country. I'm not saying something which is just as a updesh or something. Our own son, who did his B.Tech from IIT Kharagpur, specialized in finance in France, worked in London in mergers and acquisitions for 6 years, ultimately decided to come back and become his own CEO. He is struggling. I told him that I can only give you good wishes, and of course, wherever we live, you will live with us. But the struggle is your own. But I am sure, with the kind of sincerity of efforts, he'll succeed. Just like a whole lot of you can succeed if you decide to, maybe after 2-3 years of initial jobs with some corporations or companies, or if you try and become your own CEOs, that will give you a very different level of satisfaction. By the way, I was the first secretary of this department, later on upgraded to Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship for almost a year. I had to start from finding my office, and just like you said that they were living in some rented place, I was also more or less living like that. Some friends here are aware of that. But in one full year, one of the things we were able to do, and which still exists, is the National Skill Policy, National Skill and Entrepreneurship Policy 2015. Whenever you get time, kindly go through it, and you will find so much to be done by you 3 years hence or 4 years hence, not just now. Another request I would make to the faculty here is that I am sure they are already being trained on the job, but they should be taken to the key manufacturing and IT centers in the country, so that they know what kind of wonders are happening in our country. I tell you, if you go to Pune and stay for 2-3 days, which I did, and go to a couple of these automobile companies, you realize what kind of work is being done by many of your seniors, your colleagues in Pune. In fact, Abhiji, if you take them just to Nimrana, quite near to where this university is located, and show them the Japanese zone, they'll know what kind of work is possible in India and how the world waits for it. Do not wait for advertisements of the government jobs. If you go there, it's fine. It's your decision. But at the same time, there is so much to do outside the government also with the passage of time, whether it is corporate sector or whether it is self-entrepreneurship, that it looks a bit rhetorical, but sky is the limit. Sky is virtually the limit. The last thing I would like to say is that when you become your own CEOs, or if you are working in a big corporate, try to keep thinking of what you have or should be giving back to society. When Mahatma Gandhi said something about trusteeship, I think it's the Westerners who have followed the trusteeship far more than us. Whether you see the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, whether you see what Warren Buffett is doing nearer home, what Tatas have been doing for the last 75 to 100 years, what Azim Premji is doing in terms of kind of divesting his own wealth and spending on social causes as a part of trusteeship, what many other corporates are doing. But I'd like to tell you an interesting statistics. In 14-15, one of our teams from the Skills Ministry, they went to Germany. And German industry as well as the German government gave them a presentation. They showed them that the government is spent in 13-14 3 billion euros on upgradation of skills, whereas the private industry had spent in 13-14 18 billion euros, which means the private industry over there, what we call dual learning, they saw the value of it, and you just see the difference of spend, 3 billion versus 18 billion, and I'm giving you old figure, but that's where our teams went. So what you can do when you grow up and when you are really in a position to affect other lives is that what can you give back to the society. Even if you are able to give back, in Sikhism, they always used to use this word, they had a local word for it, but 1/10 of what was earned was supposed to be given back. So whether it is 1/10 or 1/5 or 1/20th even, something has to go back to the society. Incidentally, next 4 years are not going to be easy for you. There are two different things. One is just clearing the exams. The other is acquiring the knowledge. And if you want to combine the two things, clearing the exam with honors and also acquiring the knowledge, you have to really work very, very, very hard. Ultimately, success is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. But as they say, only for your generation, खोल दे पंख मेरे कहता है परिंदा, खोल दे पंख मेरे कहता है परिंदा, अभी और उड़ान बाकी है, जमीन नहीं है मंजिल मेरी, अभी पूरा आसमान बाकी है। लहरों की खामोशी को समंदर की बेबसी मत समझ ए नाना, जितनी गहराई अंदर है बाहर उतना तूफान बाकी है।